Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be going over the crazy movements that Sword and Shield boxes and some of these Scarlet and Violet boxes have been having. And then we're also going to talk about some places in the market that I think might be a good time to start buying into. Especially if you're on a tighter budget, you don't have over $500 to drop on a Chilling Rain box, for example. And just kind of checking different things out. Absolutely insane to see these kind of growth. But, if you've been following the channel, you've been watching the videos, you guys already know that I was talking about not really Chilling Rain as much. I definitely was mentioning it somewhat, seeing some good movements, but I was definitely talking about Fusion Strike. I was like, yeah, it's in its consolidation period. It's going to have another jump up soon. Looks like it jumped up again. Same with things like Brilliant Stars. The chart is tweaking a bit. Here we go. You can see, having some sort of upward momentum right now. I actually still think Brilliant Stars is a pretty decent buy, under $500 if you can find that. Pretty good price. Brilliant Stars is one of the best sets in the Sword and Shield era. I just feel like it's pretty underappreciated. Lost Origin, seeing some absolutely insane movements. Looks like most recent sales are reaching upwards to $800, which is kind of insane. Really glad I bought a box at like 500. And yeah, it's just continuing to climb. Lost Origin, obviously one of the best sets of the Sword and Shield era. That Giratina is going to be super iconic in the future. And of course, the one I was talking about a ton, Silver Tempest. I kept saying that there's no way it makes sense for this to be so undervalued. There's no way it makes sense for this to be, under Paldea Evolved. For the longest time it was just overlooked, and it's finally kind of getting that recognition. Most recent sales up in the 450s. Absolutely insane. And before you rush into buy these boxes because you see they're moving, guys, remember the best time to buy these kind of boxes is when they're at their consolidation period. So like around 330 would actually have been a better time to buy than when it's climbing up right now. After it hits a new leg up, it's not going to move for a while. People are going to sell off. It's going to hit another consolidation period. And as I always advocate on this channel, you want to buy at the right times and just kind of hold for the long term. That way, even in the short term, if you need to flip, which I don't necessarily advocate for, you still can. You have that kind of freedom in that sense. I've made the mistake of buying at the top and then just kind of feeling bad about the investment. And what's really important is feeling confident in the investments that you're making so you don't end up selling too early. Because that's the number one mistake you can make in any investing circle. Anyone will tell you is that selling early is just always a bad idea. It's always better to just hold on for the long term. But in any case, let's go over some stuff that I think is really, really good to invest to. Oh, and also Obsidian Flames moved a good amount, which, again, really surprising to me. I think the Charizard kind of pumped up a bit. I talked about that card a little while ago. I'm talking about how it was one of the lowest priced SIRs, but I think that's kind of changing. And so the Obsidian Flame blocks is starting to see more movement. But anyway, let's now get into some boxes that I think are actually at a pretty good spot right now. That I would consider buying in comparison to where their booster box equivalents are, or just in general, other booster boxes that are a little more forgotten right now. Because again, buy when no one is looking, buy when the market is shifted into another place. That's when you're going to see the best gains. First is Lost Origin ETBs, and this one has run up a good amount already, to be completely fair, but it's still somewhat capped just because there was a really big reprint of Lost Origin ETBs towards the end of the Sword and Shield era. If you guys were around back then, you'll know that these prices dropped to absolutely insane lows. I'm talking $40. You could find them for even less than $40. I was finding them for $30, $20. Absolutely insane pricing back then. You could see the sales volume was insane. Lost Origin obviously was not a bad set at all, so this supply just got eaten up. And there's still a ton of these ETBs on the market, guys. And I think if you don't have any Lost Origin exposure at all, I think the set is absolutely fantastic. And so if you want to get into it, I think the ETBs are a pretty good choice. And you might say, well, 120 is not an amazing price. You only get 8 packs. Well, what I would actually encourage you to look at is the booster bundles. So as you can see, the bundle is actually at $100, and that's only 6 packs. And I bought a good amount of these bundles. They're really good for storing, but I bought them at like in the 20s. The ETBs are almost the same price, only $20 to $30 more, yet they contain 2 more packs, which, kind of makes sense. But I think ETBs generally are going to be a more sought after product in terms of a collector's item, especially when you compare it to a bundle, which is mainly just pack value, right? With the ETBs, you do get some more interesting things alongside it. It looks and displays pretty well. They tend to be a pretty nice item, and obviously these were printed a good amount. But I think for what the ETB is, I'm surprised that it's still kind of at a lower end. Obviously, the pack per price, I guess it does kind of add up if you think about it. But at the same time, I still think the Lost Origin ETB is a really, really good value item right now. If you have no Lost Origin, again, really advocate for buying this. Obviously, booster boxes are going to be king. Obviously, you're going to see the best games with the booster boxes. And if you have a lot of money to invest, I would always advocate for those. But I always like to give people different options, because sometimes you're not in a position to buy a huge investment opportunity. And sometimes if you just buy like 1 or 2 Lost Origin ETBs and you store it for 5 years, guys, you will see insane gains on this. Yeah, I guarantee it. This Lost Origin ETB is going to be worth a good amount in the future. Moving on, Crown Zenith ETBs. Literally, I think this is the second best set in all of Sword and Shield, yet it's seeing a bit of a dip, seeing a bit of a lull period. That's because it ran up a lot, which makes me think it's probably seeing a consolidation period. But the Lucario promo inside of this ETB, really, really solid. That one's actually driving up in price as well. And so I think this Crown Zenith ETB is going to be really sought after in the future. I remember these got reprinted to Kingdom Come. These were super easy to find in the vending machines. I opened a few of them myself just because I love ripping Crown Zenith. I wish I bought even more. That's the only regret I have about this ETB. I have a good amount stored away, and I think this is an absolutely insane investment. Even now, I don't think there's any... Yeah, I don't think there's any issues I have with this ETB at all. I think Crown Zenith is one of the best sets in the Sword and Shield era, and the fact that it's seeing such steady growth over the year, I mean, 263% over a year is... we're talking unreal numbers, and it's probably just going to keep going in this kind of straight line upwards. Maybe we'll start seeing some consolidation periods when it reaches some high values, like in the 200s or 300s. But yeah, I think Crown Zenith is an absolutely amazing set, and it's going to continue to perform really, really well. I would definitely be buying this. If you're going to buy anything from this video, I think this is probably my #1 pick. Next, we have Astral Radiance booster boxes. And this is an interesting one because, this and Battle Styles are one of the few ones that haven't really jumped up recently. I think Astral Radiance is probably next in terms of seeing another big market jump, if I had to guess. It has that Misty Starmie. Machamp V is a pretty okay chase card, but Garchomp V is also really, really good chase. And the print quality on some of the trainer gallery cards tend to be okay. I'd have to check the population reports. Let me know if I'm wrong about that in the comments. So I think the trainer gallery cards actually could end up being good chase cards. In my eyes, I think the Misty Starmie and even the Garchomp are probably going to surpass the Machamp over time. The Machamp was only really at the top because it was harder to pull. But usually popularity is more important than, how hard the card is to pull, as we've seen with gold cards versus special illustration rares, right? So I think Astral Radiance actually has a pretty good chance at continuing to go up. Plus, I just like how the box looks. I think it's a very cool looking box. Now, personally, I have not, indexed a ton into Astral. I have a single box that I bought at like $250 a while ago. And I really just wanted it because I didn't have it in my Sword and Shield box collection. The only Sword and Shield boxes I'm missing at this point are Fusion and Chilling that I really want. And I think I'm just kind of content to let those go and let those keep running. Chilling, I'm just not a big fan of, as I've said before, but obviously it seems to be like a good investment. I can't knock Chilling. It's doing pretty well. And then Fusion is just, it's kind of out of my price range at this point for me to, really want to put that much money down for a single box. Plus, when you see a box that was at $100 and $120 for super long, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to like circle back and buy it for like 800. There's just something in my gut that feels wrong. Even though the market sees it that way, right? It's a little irrational, but I don't know. It just feels wrong to do that. But in any case, I think Astral Radiance is a really, really good pickup right now. It's still in that consolidation period. You can actually see the sales volume is increasing day over day. So I think we're going to see a price jump soon. If you want Astral, if you have no Astral, now is not a bad time to buy. And another box that we have on this list is the Journey Together Enhanced Booster Box. Now, this is very different. This is not a Sword and Shield box, but it's also seeing some pretty good gains. And that's because I don't think it's clear if we know we're going to get another enhanced reprint, or if this kind of first wave was the last wave. And so I actually picked up a case when this first released for around, I think, 1300 or something. And I was actually pretty happy with that price. I didn't mind paying that at all. Just because if this doesn't get a reprint, I think it's going to be absolutely the premier product for Journey Together boxes. And as I've talked about on this channel before, I actually think Journey Together is a dark horse. And Zoroark, Lily's Clefairy, Iona's Bellybolt, you know, it's got a lot of interesting cards. It's got that Salamence SIR. It's a really, really good set. Articuno illustration rare. It's got a lot of good cards. People, it just got overhyped in the beginning, and so it crashed really hard, and I think that scared off a lot of people, and so they think that it sucks. But realistically, I think Journey Together is actually a very solid set. Plus, you get the Enzo Reshiram promo with the enhanced booster box, which is one of the more coveted SIRs with the stamp. So I think that's obviously a pretty good plus. Now that Mega Evolution is also getting an enhanced booster box, it looks like if enhanced booster boxes are gonna become their own collectible, kind of separate item, almost like Pokemon Center ETBs, then I'm 100% on board, and I'm 100% gonna try and get a case of every single enhanced booster box print if possible. It's looking like that's gonna be hard for Mega Evolutions. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that. We will see though. I don't know how much they want to print the enhanced booster boxes, if they're going to be more exclusive or not. I was able to get one enhanced booster box from the Pokemon Center. I was actually going to open it, but I think I'm probably just going to keep it sealed, looking at how difficult it might be to get. And if you don't know, the news is that Mega Evolution's booster boxes are going to be split when they first come out. So like 50% of it is going to be enhanced, and the other half is going to be non-enhanced for the first wave. I don't know about the second wave. That's what I've been hearing online and rumors and whatnot. But yeah, I think Journey Together is actually a pretty good buy for enhanced booster boxes. If you kind of factor in just the Ends Reshiram promo card, I think it's like $15 to $10. So you're almost subtracting that from the box price, right? Because it's included with that product. So even if you just want to open something, I think this is a pretty good option, all things considered. But in any case, yeah, I think Journey Together is a pretty good buy right now. It's one of the few boxes that's at $230 or less. You can definitely find them around the internet on eBay and some other stores because there was a lot of supply of this. And if you're looking for a booster box to hold for the future, I think this is pretty good at a pretty good price, considering where the market is at right now. Next, we have Brilliant Stars ETBs. Now, these have seen another kind of price increase alongside the booster boxes, but not as drastic, I would say. And so I think there's definitely, some kind of room for this to grow. Same with the Silver Tempest ETBs. In fact, these have almost plateaued a little bit in the last week or so. And at $100, it is a bit steep, to be honest, but it makes sense to me because I've been tracking the Pokemon Center versions of this, and they've been moving a lot. And you know what? Let's actually talk about the Pokemon Center ETBs for Brilliant. Because I think it's still actually a pretty good buy at $160. It's one of the less expensive ones. And Brilliant Stars, again, I think one of the best, sets. Plus the ETB design for this is really, really fun. Astral Radiance, I think, is also a pretty cheap one. These were available on the Pokemon Center website for quite a while. Only $125 for a Pokemon Center ETB is actually a pretty good price. You can see it's going down right now. What is Silver at? Silver Tempest. I think this one has run up even more, honestly. It's like 200 or something. Yeah. So Silver Tempest PCTBs at around 200, and you can see supply is starting to dwindle. It looks like we're going to start entering almost into the 300s. 250 to 300 soon. Most recent sale, $260. I'm glad I bought into the PCTBs while I still could, and they were affordable. And so yeah, these are just kind of some gaps in the market that I think are worth looking at. Last but not least, we have Obsidian Flames ETBs. And as you saw before, Obsidian Flames Pokemon or booster boxes are seeing some good growth. It looks like we're not seeing exactly the same kind of growth with the ETBs. We're seeing somewhat of a growth, right? But I think these are still very undervalued, given the fact that you get a $20 Charmander promo inside the box immediately. $20 or $30. I forget how much the card is now, but It's a very coveted card. It's over, you know, I think it's $180 in a PSA 10 because it's a pretty hard grading play to make. Um, and so I think this ETB is actually a really, really solid pickup right now. If you want an early Scarlet and Violet set that's about to go out of rotation, I think the Obsidian Flames ETB is a really, really good choice right now. Great promo set that's going up in value right now. I would actually also throw the Paldea Evolved ETB. This one doesn't have as good of a promo, but again, Paldea Evolved is a really, really good set, very solid set. The ETB just got, I think, some reprints, question mark. I know we've been seeing some of them float onto vending machines over the past few months. I think there was that rumor that the ETBs were going to get reprinted. I don't know how much of that was actually true, how much actually flooded the market or not, but I still think these are a great buy. Again, the promo with the Pikachu and all 3 starters, I think is going to do absolutely fantastic into the future. I'm actually holding on to both my PSA 10 copies of the Charmander and the Pikachu because I really do believe in them. And, you know, it goes without saying that the PC versions of these are doing absolutely amazing. Like, if we check the Pokemon Center, Obsidian Flames, PC ETB, this is upwards of $400 now. Absolutely insane growth. And so I think the regular version is going to start to see some of those similar gains just because people still want the promo, even if they don't necessarily care about the stamp, right? And so the only way to get that promo is through the box. And they didn't really print Obsidian Flames ETBs into the ground or anything. So I think it's actually a great buy. Let's check out the Paldea Evolved one. This is also a really, really popular promo. You can see $370. In fact, I actually think this might be a buying opportunity. You might say, whoa, that's crazy. Buying opportunity at $380? Yes, as I've said before, I'm a very, very bullish on PC ETBs. And oftentimes, the booster box has actually been less expensive than the Pokemon Center ETB from Paldea Evolved. And the fact that, you know, it's now almost the same price. Paldea Evolved booster boxes are almost the same price. Actually signifies to me that I think it might be a good time to buy into Paldea Evolved PC ETBs if you're bullish like me. If you think that these are really going to perform as the best sealed product for any given set, then I would 100% buy into them. Obviously, that's just me, though. As you can see, the Obsidian Flames one, obviously the Charmander is a little bit different. It's a really good promo. But yeah, this one is like, it clears the regular booster box by a mile and more. And so I think Paldea Evolved is actually a pretty good buy at this rate as well. So yeah, that's going to be the video, guys. Remember, when you see something move like a ton, you don't necessarily want to buy into that. Maybe look for other products that haven't moved as much. Look for some packs. Look for some boxes with packs of that set that haven't moved as much. Buy into those. Try and find edges in the market. That's how you really make good gains over the short term and long term. And as I've said before, you know, if you hold for 2 to 3 years, it doesn't really matter what price you buy in, because whatever price you buy now, it will be higher in the future. That's just how sealed product goes, unless you're buying ultra modern. And so I think it's perfectly fine to buy any Sword and Shield product at the current prices. I think you'll be fine in a few years. For Scarlet and Violet, I would definitely recommend these ETBs. I think they're a great option as well. But yeah, that's going to be the video. What are you guys looking at buying at in recent weeks? Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.